The presidential election of 1888 consists of four political parties, the two major parties being the Democrats and the Republicans, and the other two being the Prohibitionists and the Union Labor Party.
The two major people running for office was Republican Benjamin Harrison and Democratic Grover Cleveland. The tariffs were the main issue in the election of 1888.
Running for the Democrats was Grover Cleveland, who was renominated unanimously without a formal ballot with running mate Allen G. Thurman. This was the first time an incumbent Democratic president had been reelected since Martin Van Buren in 1840.
Grover Cleveland was born in New Jersey in March 1837. After becoming a lawyer, he moved to Buffalo, New York, and worked as a clerk. During his presidency, Cleveland pushed for lowering tariffs, which was supported by farmers and laborers. Democrats leaders tried to embarrass the Republicans by blocking the Republican-sponsored laws. Democrats in Congress used minority tactics like the disappearing quorum rule, which let members of the House of Representatives join in debate but then refused to answer the roll call to determine whether a quorum was present.
Running for the Republicans was Senator Benjamin Harrison of Indiana, with running mate Levi P. Morton. Their support for protective tariffs, repeal taxes on tobacco, support of gold and silver use for currency, and more.
Benjamin Harrison was born in Ohio in 1833, then became a minister before becoming a lawyer, and moved to Indianapolis. When the Civil War broke out, Harrison volunteered for service and rose to the rank of brigadier general. Harrison resumed his political career in 1865. Harrison was nominated on the 8th ballot to run against President Grover Cleveland for the election of 1888.
A political cartoon shows Republican presidential nominee Benjamin Harrison using a campaign lemon squeezer to squeeze political appointees into coins, which drop into a barrel marked campaign fund. Harrison remarks, "Not as heavy as Grover, perhaps, but then I have more lemons."
The Prohibition candidates were Clinton B. Fisk along with John A. Brooks. The main goal of the Prohibition was to prohibit the use of alcohol beverages in the United States.
As for the Union Labor Party, the candidates was Alson J. Streeter for president and Charles E. Cunningham for vice president. Its attempt to appeal to both American farmers and laborers by opposing land monopolies and calling for the limitation on land ownership and the free coinage of silver. Overall, the mission was to demand labor and industrial reforms.
Many people thought that Grover Cleveland should win again for 2 consecutive terms, like most presidents do. But however, the main issue of the election of 1888, being tariffs and his prior presidency, damaged his chances of winning. During his presidency, Cleveland tried to reduce government spending and used his veto power more than any other president.
The U.S. experienced a budget surplus during President Cleveland's first 4 years in office. Cleveland attacked the tariff as a cause rather than spending the money on excessive appropriations. He called the tariff a tax which was rentless. Grass is fastened upon the clothing of every man, every woman, and every child in the land. Cleveland made the tariff issue the primary concern of the election of 1888. While Democrats favored reducing the tariff and thus the budget surplus, Republicans were committed to the protective tariff set high enough to maintain a domestic monopoly for U.S. businesses. The campaign was the first since the Civil War in which the two parties differed on major economic issues.
This video is a visual reenactment of Cleveland and Harrison campaigns. This was created by previous students Anthony Spadano and Kyle Lark.
And I'm here to discuss the Republican stance on tariff reform. A high tariff would protect American industry from foreign competition and guarantee higher wages, high profit, and economic growth.
Senator Benjamin Harrison wants to raise your taxes. He does not know what is right for the common people, but I do. I'm Grover Cleveland, and I'll lower your taxes. Vote me for president on November 6, 1888. I'm Grover Cleveland, and I...
The election of 1888 was held on November 6, 1888. Both the Prohibitionists and Union Labor parties gained some popular votes, but neither of the parties gained any electoral votes. With support of the majority of the northern, midwestern, and western states, Benjamin Harrison gained 233 electoral votes and around 5,440,000 popular votes. Grover Cleveland, whose voters were mostly from the southern states, received only 168 electoral votes, but beat Harrison with more popular votes with about 5,500,000. The winner of the election was the one with the most electoral votes, so Harrison won.
This was the second time in American history that a presidential candidate had won a majority of the electoral vote while losing the popular vote.